You do know that your habits are the reason why either you're wealthy, rich, or broke. Yeah? And your habits affect your money because as an adult, right? Most especially a young adult, whatever you train or you put your mind into, the moment you start doing it repeatedly, you start creating like a loop around that habit. One way or another, it will affect your finances. Okay? May it be the friends you keep, the career you choose, how you spend your free time, and stuff like that. Whatever it is you decide to start doing, it becomes a habit the moment you do it continuously. Well, today I'm here to talk about some of the habits that I started that actually helped me save money. Stay with me. Number one habit is I started cooking at home, but this was way back. Yeah? That's why it's a habit. It's not something that I just started. Okay? And when I cook at home, if I can, I do batch cooking. Yeah? Cooking at home is cheaper than eating out. Factoring in that it's me and my daughter. Nowadays, let's say we go out. A nice place, not just a random restaurant. Huh? A plate of food for me and my daughter, just one plate of food will cost me not less than 2,500. Okay? So for two people, and we've not even put drinks and stuff like that, or fuel. So we are talking about 5,000 shillings going up, right? So I started cooking at home. This helped me save lots of money. Okay? If I compare eating out and eating at home, it helps me save a lot of money, not just daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. And when it comes to batch cooking, we cook, food that at least in a day we cook once, so that we avoid going back to the kitchen like several times, even if it's rice, stews, meat stews, peas, we save, we freeze the extra for later. This helped me save lots of money, and it's a habit that I'll still keep doing. Number two, I have no spend days. Maybe I have many of those. I started, of course, with one no spend day a week, but nowadays actually the spending days can be like, I can spend like 3 times in a week only. When you look at it, I save a lot over time. You'll not find me buying random snacks, or small items. These are things I used to do a while back, excuse me. So I got to a point where I had to teach myself to use what I have. Okay? Unless, of course, it's an emergency, and emergencies don't happen every day. And even if an emergency comes and you've planned yourself, you're still doing okay. Another habit that helps me save lots of money is, for example, if I see something that I want, I have to wait it out. I give myself, okay, there's people who say 24 hours, 48 hours. I give myself at least 30 days, a month, before purchasing that item. Of course, I'm talking about non-essentials, okay? Not essentials. These are things that you want, but you really don't need. For example, another pair of shoes, yeah? Gadgets, like an extra phone, yeah? Or even fancy clothes. So I take my time before I purchase. Most of the times, by 30 days, the need or the want always disappears most of the time. So it helps me save money. And this is because when you wait for something for like 30 days, you no longer want it. Hauitaki. So you find yourself saving thousands of shillings. Okay? Patience, the power of time. Another habit is I buy second-hand, good quality second-hand items. Okay? And when I say this, I don't mean just second-hand clothes or shoes. No. Even a car can be second-hand. Like this one is ex-Japan. Okay? It's a second-hand car. Okay? When it comes to furniture, you can get very nice furniture second-hand. Some of my best jackets, are second-hand. They call it camera or something. Although sometimes people say you should buy second-hand appliances and phones, but I'm a bit afraid. This is Kenya. For me, that's where I draw the line. For a phone, I'd rather go for a new phone, and appliances, I'll go for new appliances. Okay, I'm trying to save money for repairs and stuff like that. But we're all different. If you have a plug for nice phones, nice second-hand phones and appliances, good. For me, I don't. So until then, that's all. Buying these second-hand things can save you up to 50%, 70%, profit. Utabaki na pesa. Unlike going for something new. Someone who goes for a new car spends way more much money than a second-hand car, and they both play the same purpose. So it really depends on how deep your pockets are at the end of the day. Another habit that helps me save money is sharing some gadgets with neighbors, okay, or books, novels. So instead of buying a new book, I would borrow. Okay, listen, this is something that always has been there, even in the village back at home. There's tools. Instead of buying a new tool, something like a wheelbarrow or a hammer, you will find neighbors help each other out. So I have adopted that mindset. Of course, you can't borrow everything, but certain things. Okay, it's cheaper when you borrow instead of you buying. You cannot be planning to buy something that you're going to only use once. Okay, so if you can borrow, use, return, that's cheaper. Even if you have to pay a small price for it, it's worth it. Okay. Nowadays, there's people who even open WhatsApp groups for lending and borrowing these things. Okay, you just list whatever it is that you have. Even if it's at a small price, you make your small money just like that. Okay. Another habit that has also helped me save quite some money is, okay, a lot of people will call this bargaining, but I will always ask for a better price. Okay. For me, it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm buying something new, I'll ask for a discount. Okay. If it's rent, I'll ask the landlord, really, is this the best price you have for me? Yeah. As for something like internet, in the beginning I used to buy a smaller bundle or a package, but when I looked at it, it was more expensive. I had to outsource something cheaper. So I'll ask for lower prices. When it comes to internet, rent, insurance, I will always ask for a discount. Okay? I won't feel embarrassed about it. I have friends actually and family members around me who feel embarrassed asking for a discount. And sometimes when you talk to them, you'll hear them say how they'll talk about something they spent so much money on, and you're like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you bargain? Huh? This is something, especially if you want to be very disciplined in personal finance, you need to be able to ask for discounts. Otherwise, you'll be making money for other people. Okay? One conversation or one call can save you 2,000 Kenya shillings, 5,000 Kenya shillings or more. Okay? Per month, per week. It really depends on what it is that you're purchasing. Another thing I did is to automate my account. Okay. In Kenya, automation, well, there's ways doing it. Found it complicated, but most banks, what they will tell you to do is to put up something like a standing order. So I did that. Okay. This ensures there's money going somewhere every month. Okay. Before I even see it, it's deducted. So I set up a standing order requesting a certain amount to be moved from my normal account to a separate investments account. The beauty about these things is you won't see it, so you won't miss it. You won't feel the need to spend it. Okay? Out of sight, out of mind. Another principle I use, although it's a habit also, is I taught myself to spend everything until, it's completely depleted before buying something else. And, before it became a habit, I used to fall for, that you go, you see something nice, yet you still have it in the house, you buy some more. No. I stopped doing that. So now, until something completely runs out, I am not buying it. May it be soap, rice, tissue paper, I am not going to purchase until it completely runs out. Okay? So I'll finish all the maize flour, all the cooking oil before shopping again. So if I'm shopping, it's something that I know we have nothing in the house. I am no longer buying duplicates. When you keep buying duplicates, that's when you'll find you're throwing out expired stuff out of your house. That is you losing money. Why is it getting expired? It means there's lots of it, or you're not, something is just wrong. So I don't buy duplicates. That helps me save a lot of money. Weekly, monthly, annually. It's a win for me. Another thing I do is lower my housing costs. For example, personally, I move to cheaper areas. For me, if the rent or the price doesn't make sense, I'll move out. Okay? It has to make sense to me. So, if the space I can rent out, I rent it out. Yeah? I will not leave money on the table. For you, it can look like getting a roommate. It can also look like renting out parking space. So saving 5,000 Kenya shillings per month or per week is possible when you decide to do that. All these are decisions, okay? You decide once and you keep doing it until it becomes a habit. Like last year, I slashed my rent into 2. Yeah? More money in my pockets because I don't believe in giving someone else all my money. No. I cannot be working for other people. Well, that's the difference between me and some people. There's people who don't mind giving all their money to someone for rent or to buy a car. For me, I mind because I really want something left in my pockets. Okay? Yeah. Another thing I learned or I started doing, although this I loved doing since I was a child, is do DIY projects, do it yourself. It saves me a lot of money. If I can fix a leaking tap, I will fix it, If the only thing I need to do is to tighten something, I'll do it, okay? Instead of paying someone to do it. I can do something as simple as change a light bulb. Unclogging a sink. There's ways you can learn these things on YouTube. I patch my own clothes. I don't take them to a tailor. All these helps me save money. My daughter laughs. She says, "You know how to sew?" I'm like, "Yeah, we learned in school. I can sew." I remember even when I was in high school, if someone needed a hem to be done, they would bring their skirts, their blouses to me because I used to do a very nice hem. I'm proud of that. I still do that. Yeah. So it helps save. Okay, not much, but it's something. Okay. I can take some yogurt. I can buy myself a snack instead of giving that money to somebody else. Okay. So I just avoid paying the plumber, the tailor, the handyman all the time. Okay. Last but not least, I stopped expensive small habits. For me, it meant things like daily sodas, as I mentioned, those funny snacks here and there. And because of peer pressure, those expensive coffees. Every weekend we are going out. I stopped that. For you, it can look like something like cigarettes, that bottle of beer, or that double tot that you have to do every day. Yeah, they are small but expensive habits. And this is because that small habit can cost you between 2,000 Kenya shillings up to 10,000 Kenya shillings per month if you're not careful. You won't even notice it. So imagine you've been doing this for years. I'm not saying that when you quit smoking, or when you quit drinking, or when you quit buying coffee, it will make you a millionaire or billionaire. No. What I'm saying is, it will help position you in a better place financially. Okay? Especially if you adopt that mindset of building new habits. Yeah? Positive habits. And lastly, I don't shop without a shopping list. Ever. Me, you'll never find me shop anywhere without a shopping list. Never. Me, no. You'll never find me without a budget. For some people, that makes me extremely boring, because if I've decided budgeted this weekend, I'm only having 2 drinks, that's all I'll have. I will not break my own budget to impress friends or whoever. I don't do that. I will not do random things. Even my daughter knows, when she was young, we would go out and she would point out something. "Oh, mom, I want biscuits, I want snacks, I would tell her, "You want this? It's not on the list." So, learn this. If you want something, make sure before we leave the house, it's on the list. Okay? It's on the list. So what did she do? She learned. When we go back home, everything she saw and she wanted, it would be at the top of the list. Okay? If I'm writing a shopping list, she writes down whatever she wants. That way, when I'm doing the math, that is included. And she adopted that mindset. Okay? So, we write down what we need before we go to the market or to the supermarket. Sawa. It also helps not miss out on something important that we need. So when we are going out shopping, we only take the amount that we need. Okay? We don't take an extra. Yeah? I cancelled my card. I no longer use card anymore. That's another thing. I no longer want to use card for payments. Yeah? I'm trying so much not to use M-Pesa either. I want to use cash. Okay? And the beauty about cash is what? Cash, you see the money going out and you feel the pain, so you won't want it. But now when you're using card, you can spend a lot of money without you knowing, because you're not seeing it. And like money, you want to pinch the money some more. Or maybe it's just me, the Kikuyu in me. It's all right. So here are some of the bad money habits that I used to do, but at the end of the day, I realized I was just buying more problems. There was a time I bought a wand using credit. What I didn't know is just that I bought interest and stress. The stress that comes with it. And remember, this was not a need, it was a want. Problem is, this debt grows if you can't afford to pay it. Okay? And then within no time, you find yourself you can't afford emergencies. I broke that habit. Of course, before implementing my budget, I never used to have a budget. So I would shop in chaos. It was just chaos all over the place. When you skip a budget, you buy chaos. And this is because when you have no plan, you don't know what you're going to buy. You just have an idea. You end up overspending your money. You'll buy stuff that you don't need. And then when you do that, you end up lacking money for something like fare, food, and to make things worse, maybe you end up unakosa pesa ya rent. That's bad. Another bad habit, eating out daily, as I said before. You know what really made me start appreciating food from home? The number of times I had food poisoning. And do you know how much it costed me to go to hospital to treat myself? More than that plate of food that I bought. The pain, the stress, I'm done with eating out. Me, unless I am referred someplace with someone I trust so much, you'll never find me eating out. I'll wait and go home. Yeah. I'll have a snack, or I'll take yogurt, wait, go home. I only dine in restaurants or places that are referred to me by someone I trust, not just anyone. And this is because you eat out and you're not just paying for that food, you're paying for health problems. You're buying health problems. Because most of these foods are extremely oily or just sugary foods. Most of them, they are not even fresh. And then at the end of the day, you're left with empty pockets. Home cooking is cheaper and way cleaner. Another mistake, ignoring small leaks. You just say it's just 1,000 bob. It's just 500. That 100 bob, you keep assuming you have a soda every day. That's 3k a month. That's 3k you would have put up in an emergency fund of yours. But we always refuse to see it that way, because we never see like this emergency will ever happen to us. That's a mistake you cannot afford to make. I don't ignore small leaks. Another mistake I used to do is not comparing prices. I go one place, let's say, the first price you hear, that's the one you go with. No, you end up losing a lot of money. Okay? You have to compare prices. Okay? Because it's never the same. It's different everywhere. So if you find yourself buying the highest price, that's just because you're lazy. That's it. You don't want to move around. You don't want to ask around. So that's the price you pay for you being lazy. And this is because that same car, that same packet of sugar, that same whatever, I promise you it costs different, down the road. Only if you take your time, walk, look around. I decided I don't want to be lazy. If it will cost me money, I need the exercise anyway. I also can't afford losing money that I don't have, lending money that I don't have to people like family members, friends. And this is because at the end of the day, I would find myself buying broken friendships and I'm left with an empty wallet. We are not doing that. If I have to lend, I only lend what I can give away. If I can't give it away, I'm not lending it. Let's talk about keeping expensive friends for lifestyle. Hey! The pain that comes with this. You want to know how you lose money by keeping expensive friends? You go to high-end restaurants, clubs, everything about them is high-end. And it's not like they are bad people, no. Okay? It's just that, remember, there are days that if you're normal, you'll have to return the favor. Okay? If they take you out this weekend, next time, it's on you. Think about it. So, all you're doing is buying pressure to go out with his friends, to drink, to eat out, to dress expensively, doing all these things that are beyond your means. And then at the end of the day, it leads you to debt and or shame. Not worth it. So you just cut them off slowly. Another bad habit is living your life with no emergency fund. As I said, you think nothing can happen to you or to your loved ones, right? Wrong. I realized when you're not building an emergency fund, you're just buying a crisis. Okay, that's what you're paying for. Whatever you're spending your money on, instead of putting money aside for an emergency fund, that's you paying for crisis that's waiting to happen. So this means when your car breaks down, or when your child gets sick, or you get sick, you'll end up borrowing at high interest. Okay? Or borrowing family and friends. That's where shame comes in. And then your problems multiply. You no longer have 1 or 2 problems, you have 5. And that's why your habits, they play a huge role in your life. So all those are just money habits that either help build you or break you. It really depends on what is important to you or for you. Okay? Everyone is different. So you find whatever habit is either building you or destroying you. Your finances, I mean. Find what works for you. Right? I'm not saying what worked for me will work for you. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you decide what works for you and what would work for you. Because your habits will either break you or build you. It's not people from outside. You will build yourself or you break yourself, depending on the habits you choose to fuel. You fuel good habits, especially when it comes to finances, you grow. You fuel the bad habits, you break at the end of the day. Okay? Choices at the end of the day. Actually, I also think it's very nice when you teach your children these things when they are young. It's okay if they see you have money, but they also need to understand you don't use money the way you please. Let them learn there's consequences to the choices you make. Yeah. Yes. They need to understand the difference between needs and wants. There's no way, there is never a time that wants will ever supersede needs. And it's funny how there's adults who still confuse the two. And this is because, hata ukiangalia kwa dunia, wants, they are the ones that are extremely marketed. Wants. When you look at consumerism, things that are being pushed on your face, they're not needs, they are wants. Okay? They're not needs. And even if they classify it as a need, they'll just market to you the expensive form of need. As I mentioned, don't be too lazy to compare prices. Now, for example, If they are marketing for you like an expensive type of unga, you go and buy it, and you can get the same, a different company, different brand, of course, of unga at half the price. Don't be ignorant, okay? Don't pay that heavy price just because you choose to be ignorant. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, we are all trying to make money, to make more money. So don't you think it's unfair if all you're doing is use money? Take a moment, sit down, think about it. Balance. Output and input. How are they? The way money is coming in and the way money is coming out of your pockets. If you're not careful, we live in a world where everyone wants your money. Everyone is after your money. Go check out a video I made about why people are lying just to get your money. People lie. People will do anything to get your money. I'll sell you whatever I have. I will tell you exactly what you need to hear. Just because I want your money. And if I think you're foolish, I'll double the price. Something I've noticed even in town, nowadays. When they see you driving a nice car, the price is higher. If they see you're reluctant, and you're not the kind of person who asks questions, they'll get your money. We live in a world where being dumb is very expensive. Being stupid is very expensive. It doesn't really matter whether you come from a wealthy family or a poor family. One thing I can tell you, you cannot afford to be stupid, to be dumb. You cannot afford to make stupid decisions. They come at a very high price. The price you pay for that, the consequences, the results, they're extremely expensive and painful and stressful. Yeah? Problem is, by the time you realize these habits you collected, you've also lost time. And time is something you can never recover. Yeah? Let me tell you. Habits. These things are very important. Very, very important. This is something you need to be very, very careful. So if you're used to spending money every weekend, maybe you need to sit down and rethink about that. Okay? If every day you have this small habit you keep doing, whether it's smoking, it's drinking. There's people who have, before they go home, they have to take a tot, they have to drink, they have to pass by through a spot there. All these are habits. Yeah? As I mentioned, keeping expensive friends. The pressure that comes with that. You start small. Today you guys are doing what? Tomorrow, next weekend you're doing this. The other month you're doing this. Within a fraction of like 6 months, 1 year, you're so deep into debt, into a lifestyle that you can't really keep up. And it's sad if now these your friends don't understand where you're coming from. You'll pay a very hefty price. We have to be smart financially, people. We have to be smart. As I said, those are some of the things I do to help me financially. I'm not saying it will work for you. I'm just saying you go sit down with yourself, figure out what can work for you. Okay? Because we are not on the same levels. We are not in the same place in life. Okay? Everyone in their own lane. So. Like me, I'm a single mom. So I have to factor in my daughter. So you, as a single person, or as a couple, or as a big family, the decisions you make can be slightly different from my decisions. But at the end of the day, there's things that are just common. We all want to make money. We all want to save money. We all want more money in our pockets. If there's a way I can keep more money in my pockets, if I was to spend 10K, but there's a way I can just spend 5 and remain with 5, I'll find that means. If all I need is to speak, for example, bargaining, I'll bargain for me to remain with that 5K. I'll put my pride, my stupid ego aside, because at the end of the day I want to win. I'll put the ego aside, what aside, nini. I'll come down to that level, tupambane. Yeah? Doing whatever it takes, as long as it doesn't compromise my values. Anyway, that's what I had for you today. Yeah? Habits that help me save money, and they're still helping me save lots of money. Okay? So you think about it. Let me know on the comment section what you think. Okay? Well, I'm Miss Moithathi, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.